Hi there and welcome back or welcome to my channel if this is your first time here. My name is Amy and I have a somewhat unhealthy obsession with Formula One. In today's video, it's time to talk about the Miami Grand Prix. So Miami just happened. It's a day later. I kind of need that time to process the fact that Mr. Lando Norris is a race winner. He's a race winner. What an icon. It's been a long time coming, I will say, so the fact that it happened this week, very happy that I witnessed it. Anyway, let's get right into your weekend wrap up. Starting with free practice 1. Not much really happened. To be fair, I was drunk in an Uber on the way home when I was watching it, so something more might have happened. I just don't recall it. The main thing that happened was obviously Leclerc spinning, causing a red flag. Other than that, not much happened. Verstappen P1, Piastri P2, and Carlos Sainz P3. Now, as Red Bull and McLaren are my teams, McLaren's the secondary team, I was very excited to see Piastri up there. The upgrades definitely were working this weekend, and that was very, very exciting to see because we need a championship fight. Then we move into sprint qualifying. The first main shock was the fact that Logan Sargent outqualified Alex Albon, only by 1 spot, and because Albon's lap got deleted, but he still outqualified him. Bottas also got a 3-place grid penalty for blocking Oscar in SQ1. Moving into SQ2, the main shock was the fact that both Mercedes were out in SQ2. They didn't make it through to the final part of your sprint quali. Again, that car just did not look good this weekend, not compared to Red Bull or McLaren or Ferrari. Obviously, when you have 6 spots already taken up by those teams, it's kind of hard to get through to the next part of qualifying. Mercedes is usually up there, but for some reason, it just wasn't their weekend at Miami. In the end, Verstappen claimed pole position for the sprint by a whole 1/10 of a second, considering he didn't think he was going to do well and is complaining about the tyres. Very, very, very good. So the top 5 for the sprint quali were Verstappen, Leclerc, Perez, Ricciardo, and Sainz. And my little Ricciardo heart was so happy. It was so happy. And I'm still so happy, even though the rest of the weekend didn't really go according to plan, but we'll get into that. So moving on to the sprint race, first major thing was literally the first lap, first corner, is between Fernando, Stroll, and Lewis, which resulted in Lando being out of the sprint race. And for the first time all season, McLaren would only have 1 driver in the points. The other bit of excitement came from the fact that Daniel was starting so far up the grid, starting in 4th in the derby, when Yuki was all the way down in 15th. So I'm not saying that was a really good job from him to get that high up. And he held his own. He fought off Sainz, he fought off Piastri, who were right on his tail that entire time, within DRS that entire sprint race, and he didn't let them pass, so he still finished 4th. And I know Sainz must have been real pissed at the Aussies this weekend, and I love it. The other thing was K-Mag doing his classic defending, and by classic defending I mean being a tad bit aggressive and providing us some sort of entertainment in his battle with Lewis Hamilton. Now, this did result in him getting numerous penalties, and he was mainly doing it so Hulkenberg could stay ahead and get a point. Once again, pulling through, playing that team game, and again, providing us some sort of entertainment. Because without him, it would not have been too interesting. Without him and Daniel, that race would have been dead. Hamilton also got a penalty due to this battle, which meant that Yuki Tsunoda was able to sneak in and get that final point off Lewis. On to quali, and again, I was unamused. Daniel did not do so great, and it was at that point that I turned off qualifying because I was so excited for him to do well again, and he didn't do well. That's fine. You'll never guess who the top 3 were: Verstappen, Leclerc, and Sainz. Woo! Again, other than that, pretty standard average quali. Nothing to report home about. The race, however, was spicy. The race was so good. Thanks to a safety car. Probably without the safety car, it would not have been as good because you would not have gotten... Obviously, you wouldn't have gotten a new race winner, but it would have been highly unlikely that Lando would have won that race. I'm just saying Piastri would have been more likely. So, immediately from lights out, and we have action with Checo Perez braking just, a tad bit too late. Almost taking out his own teammate. Almost, literally this far from taking out Max. can you imagine the scenes if he did that? Red Bull would have not been happy. Anyway, this also caused a bit of a Constantina effect, meaning that Oscar Piastri was able to jump to third for when he started sixth, so he overtook Lando, Perez, and Sainz. So he was now third. And a few laps later, he overtook Leclerc to be in second, like on genuine pace, overtook Leclerc, which is immaculate. And was running second, and he was running second, and Lando was charging through the pack as well. Once Perez pitted, he had free air to do what he wanted, and he was like catching up to the back of Sainz, really putting the pressure on Ferrari. And that was what we liked to see. Other than that, also on the first lap, the Alpines almost crashed, which is kind of classic Alpine at this point. And we had one virtual safety car for a knocked over cone, courtesy of Max Verstappen. I think he just wanted to spice up the race for everyone. He's like, I'm getting a bit bored out front. Let me just like knock over this cone and see what happens. And yeah, virtual safety car, causing a few people to come into the pits, but all the front runners had already gotten past at that point. Verstappen did come into the pits, but it was after the virtual safety car had ended. Piastri, Norris, and Sainz were the only ones who were still on the original tyres by this point in the race, and they were your leading pack of three. On lap 27, race leader Oscar Piastri decided to pit, along with Carlos Sainz as well, which meant that Lando Norris was the only one who hadn't pitted going really long on those medium tyres. Tsunoda, Zhou, and Ricciardo also hadn't pitted, but they were further back. I'm talking about your leaders. And then literally, as soon as Piastri stops, yellow flags. That's what it felt like, okay? From a Piastri fan point of view, that's what it felt like. The second that Piastri pitted, it felt like a yellow flag was called immediately. And initially, I thought Piastri was still out. I had like clocked out of it for like a second. I was like, oh my god, this is brilliant. And I saw McLaren in front. Oh my god, Piastri, the Slay, this is gonna work so well. And it was Lando. And I was like, okay, that's fine. I still like Lando. Lando can still win. Again, that's my Lando hat. Ignore the fact that it's a Daniel hat. It was signed by Lando, so that's my Lando hat. So moments later, yellow flags, and then a full course safety car was called for an incident between Logan Sargent and Kevin Magnussen. We should probably talk about this incident because Kevin Magnussen was quite controversial all week, and again providing so much entertainment. He's now on 10 penalty points. So for those of you who don't know how the penalty point system works, for certain instances you will get a penalty point. So like if you push somebody off track, you cause an incident, you crash, whatever, penalty point. Once you accumulate 12 of those, it is a race ban, and he is only 2 off of a race ban. He has got so much more compared to everyone else on the grid. It's actually kind of insane. And we thought Ocon was the king of penalties. No, K-Mag came for that crown. He's like, I want to win one Drivers' Championship, and it is going to be the penalty point championship. Do I think he deserved a penalty point for that incident? I'm going to go with yeah. As it was slightly more of like a racing incident, sure, but I still think it was slightly on him over than Logan Sargent, because, again, poor Leggy Bear. You probably should have seen K-Mag coming, and that also wasn't like a spot you normally overtake on the track, so like kind of racing a but also kind of on K-Mag over Logan, you know what I mean? Anyway, this all played brilliantly into the hands of McLaren and Lando Norris, and he was able to pit under that safety car. He was going to be a full lap ahead of everyone else, but they always said to let everybody back past him, and then re-catch up behind him, so that way that they were all on the same lap. And yeah, so he was at the front of the pack, freshest tires out of everyone. Absolutely amazing. And yeah, he didn't drop it as soon as the safety car restart happened. It wasn't the best restart from him, and Max was gaining, but Max made an uncharacteristic mistake. And therefore Lando went off into the distance, and a few laps later was like 3 seconds ahead of Max, and we were all so happy. Meanwhile, further back with your other McLaren, he was currently scrapping with Carlos Sainz. Carlos wasn't very happy. Amy wasn't very happy. I'm going to assume Oscar wasn't very happy either. They were scrapping away, and then there was a bit where Carlos was going to overtake Oscar, and then Oscar went off track a little, but like not too badly, and Sainz couldn't find a way through, and then Sainz was on the blower immediately being like, he needs to give me that position back. That's illegal. Like, just tell him to give me that position back before he gets a penalty for it. Like, you should just do that. Just give me the spot back. You didn't even have the spot in the first place, okay, Carlos? So, like, go away. So therefore I was mad at him. I'm like, how dare you? And it was fine. They said no further investigation for that incident. Oscar was not at fault at that, according to the FIA and according to me. And those are really the only two authorities on the subject that you need. Then, a few laps later, Sainz goes for another overtake on Piastri and, like, clips him. Not really, like, clips him, but how do I... So Oscar's here, and then Sainz is going down the inside of the corner, right? And does it see, like, he swings his car back, so, like, for, like, the overtake, he, like, touches the front of Oscar's car, and, like, I swear you see Oscar's car just, like, stop. Right, like, it wasn't like a light little love, like, I'm just gonna brush against it. No, it was like a little which meant that Oscar did have a bit of a damage, and then immediately 5 seconds later was overtaken by Perez and Hamilton, and now Amy's crying because he is tumbling back, and we could have had 2 McLarens on the podium and it would have been great. Not that he would have caught up to Charles Leclerc, but he could have done re-overtaken him, okay, and then we could have had 2 McLarens on the podium, but no. So yeah, he had to pit, change his front wing, and then he was all the way at the back of the grid, screaming. He did, however, get fastest up of the race and was able to work his way back up to 13th with, like, the few laps remaining, which was pretty good, but still no points. The other side of the garage was so much better. Again, a Lando Norris finally won. He finally won, and does he deserve it? He deserves it so much. I am so happy for him, and I think everybody was happy. I don't think I've seen a single person who was like, yeah, I hate the fact that Lando Norris won a race. Like, everybody was happy for him. All the drivers who came up and gave him a hug. So cute, the fact that he was like, yeah, this one's for my grandma. So cute. Him crowd surfing on the McLaren team is so cute. The whole thing, like, the most wholesome, like, race ending ever. I am a fan. I am a fan. And did it all with an injured nose from his time in Amsterdam. So basically, if you need to beat Max Verstappen, just, like, injure yourself the week before. Go get an appendix out, go, like, break your nose. That is how you're gonna win, as demonstrated by Carlos and Lando. Speaking of Carlos, he actually received a post-race penalty for that incident with Oscar Piastri that I described earlier. So take that. Anyway, continue on with Lando's celebrations. It's kind of odd, but, like, did y'all see him in the club? The way I would sell my firstborn child to have been in that club with him, been in that club with all those F1 drivers, the way I would have, like, done anything. I don't have any children. I don't want children, but, like, I would go through the pain of childbirth to birth a child so I could give it to them so I could get into that after party. And it looked really fun. It looked so much fun. I think that was really the only shenanigans that came out of Miami. Usually there was so much shenanigans. We had a few celebrities, as per celebrities that I don't like, aka Donald Trump was there in the McLaren garage for some reason. Literally go away. Like, why are you here? Same goes to you, Mr. Jake Paul. Go away. Oh, here, James Charles. What were you doing here? James and Max? No, that is not a picture I ever wanted to see. Ever. So, yeah, there was some bad energy going on with those 3 being there. But other than that, it was a pretty normal race week. I want to be so real. They didn't have the weird police escort to the national anthem. They had, like, these cute little, like, Barbie style, like, little Land Rover things. They were quite cute. No cringy entrances. No will.i.am singing the national anthem. Like, it was actually kind of normal. And I was like, thank you. You've listened to the fans' feedback. So I do very much appreciate it. Here is your race results. Again, nothing too shocking. Like, I've told you everything that was shocking. Yuki came through and got more points for RB. We don't talk about Daniel because I might cry. The current driver standings, McLaren again slaying 5th and 6th currently. I believe there's been a bit of movements, particularly in the constructors, because Alpine got the first point on the weekend. Not that anyone cares. SD Bestie finished 10th. So they are now in 8th ahead of Williams and Sauber, who are yet to score a point. And whilst we're here, Fantasy League, I think it's doing a bit better this week than it has been the past few weeks. Again, haven't really checked. I love how I said I was going to be so committed to it this year. I'm just not. Quite frankly, I'm just not, but, like, it's there. Wait, next time out we are in Imola. I feel like it's been a while since we've been to Imola. We didn't go last year because, you know, it flooded. Imola should be good. It's our first European race of the season, right? Yeah, we're going, it's our European leg, yeah. First European race, it should be good. I'm excited, as per, why would I not be excited? It's an F1 race. And that brings this weekend wrap up to a wrap. If you liked it, I got more F1 content over on this one. That's my little TikTok. With some more lifestyle behind the scenes of Amy being Amy. There's the Instagram. Go check them both out. And if you like the video, then like it and press the red button to subscribe for more F1 and motorsport related content. And I'll see you all in the next one. Laters.